Very good morning, dear students. In the last session, just we discussed about the different economies of the world and the basic problems of an economy. And today we are going to discuss about the very interesting topic, that is about positive and normative economics, micro and macro economics. Let us start the session with positive quote. Feed your mind with positive thoughts and attract great things into your life. So dear students, so these two are very important concepts which we studied in this chapter. They are positive and normative economics. So before going to discuss about what is positive economics and normative economics, it is very essential to know the meaning of a positive science and a normative science. So what is positive science? A positive science is one which explains the things as they are. That means explains the causes and consequences of things as it is. Then what do you mean by normative science? A normative science is one which explains the things as to what they ought to be. That means normative science discusses rightness or wrongness, which is good or which is bad. So on the basis of this knowledge, let us know the meaning of positive economics and normative economics. Dear students, we all know that economics is a social science. It is a science as well as an art. Economics is a social science because it deals with economic activities of man in the society. So economics is both, it is a science as well as an art. So the question arises, which type of science it is? So is it positive or normative? So come to the point, what is positive economics? Positive economics is related to the analysis which is limited to cause and effect relationship. And on the other hand, normative economics aims at examining the real economic events from the moral and ethical point of view. It is used to judge whether the economic events are desirable or not. Once again I will repeat, positive economics is related to the analysis which is just related to limited to cause and effect relationship. What is cause and what is its effect? And on the other hand, normative economics aims at examining all those economic events from the moral and ethical point of view. That means a judgment is there. So this is the meaning of positive economics and normative economics. So positive economics deals with the scientific explanation of the working of the economy, how the economy performs the basic functions or how it face or how it tackle what to produce, how to produce and whom to produce. How the economy takes a decision about the consumption, production, exchange as it is. So it analyzes every issue of economics from a positive perspective without personal judgment. And on the other hand, normative economics studies what ought to be. It is concerned with how the basic economic functions should be performed, in what way. It describes what should be done and what should not be done, what is good or what is bad for human beings. So normative statements are sometimes called matters of opinion or statements of value. So this is the very interesting point. Once again I will repeat. So positive economics explains how the economy takes a decision about the consumption, production, distribution, exchange, what was and what is under the given set of circumstances. On the other hand, normative economics describes what should be done and what should not be done, which is good or which is bad for human beings, and which is right or which is wrong. So on the basis of these all things, let us know the very interesting things of the different elements related to the positive and normative economics. So according to the Economist's glossary of terms, normative economics is that tries to change the world by giving suggestions. for increasing the economic welfare. The opposite of this positive economics, which is contained to try to describe the world as it is rather than prescribes way to make it better. It means positive economics explains the things as they are, and on the other hand normative economics gives us good idea about or suggesting policies for increasing the welfare of the people of the country. So let us go through the pictures. So positive economics seeks to understand behavior without making judgments about outcomes. See here, does a currency devaluation fuel inflation, or oil prices contributing to a GDP slowdown? Disposable income has declined by 15% over the past 4 years. When disposable income falls, the demand for own label supermarket food rises. Raising tax on beer will have a negative effect on the profits, etc. Higher interest rates will dampen house prices. These are the positive economic statements. Let us see these all things in a normative economics. So, normative economics analyzes the outcome of economic behavior, evaluates them as good or bad, we already discussed. So, take for example, higher education should be free. It means definitely it helps us to increase the literacy rate of the country and help us to increase the economic development of the nation. And one more interesting thing, should alternative fuels be subsidized, that to chase the hike in that is oil prices? Then third one, we must try to boost disposable income, rather stating that it is reduced by 10%, 15% like this. So many policies are there to boost or to increase the disposable income of the people of the country. Then basic health care to all citizens should be free. Definitely health is the very important basic amenities of our life. So take for example food, clothing, shelter, and the fourth one is that is the good health and the good education, essential part of the economic system of the nation. Unemployment is more harmful than inflation. Yes, it is 100% sure. Inflation that is easily tackled by introducing different types of monetary policies, fiscal policies, but unemployment, it is a definitely dampens the social or economic well-being of the people of the country. The minimum wage should be raised by at least 20%. So market mechanisms should be allowed to work freely in order to make sure resources are best allocated. So see these all things, these are normative economic statements. Just to glance positive and normative economic statements. So positive explains things as they are and normative explains which is good or which is bad. So judgment is there. So normative economics, see this picture. So facts and only facts, positive, and normative to be or not to be. So this is what the difference between positive and normative. Positive connects cause and effects, the normative makes recommendations. So one more interesting picture is given here. See here, positive and normative, ought to be and it was, will be, like this, can be proved and cannot be proved. Okay, positive economics and normative economics, these are the two important aspects of our economic life. And come to the point, the difference between positive economics and normative economics. So positive economics is based on the data and facts, and normative economics is based on opinions and values. Definitely positive economics is descriptive, then normative economics is narrow content. So positive explains cause and effect relationship between different economic variables, and normative economics explains past value conclusions. So it is objective and it is subjective, and as what actually is, and this is what ought to be. A statement can be tested and proved here, and statement cannot be tested and proved in normative economics. So this is what the difference between positive and normative economics. Yes, the next very interesting topic is that is about micro and macro economics. Dear students, the two terms micro and macro, these two are yes, micro and macro economics, these two are derived from two Greek words. So they are macros and macros. These two terms were first coined and used by a very great and well known Professor Ragnar Frisch, the first Nobel laureate in economics in the year 1920. Once again, I will repeat the two terms micro and macro. These are derived from two Greek words micros and macros. These two terms were first time coined by and used by a well-known famous economist Professor Ragnar Frisch, the first Nobel laureate in economics in the year 1920. So, what is a micro and what is macroeconomics? So, micro and macroeconomics both are very useful to study the different elements of the economic system. So, what is microeconomics and what is macroeconomics? See here. So, micro means small, macro means large. The picture indicates that that is the small house, this is micro, and the globe, that is macro. So come to the point, what is microeconomics and what is macroeconomics? Microeconomics is the study of particular markets and segments of the economy. It looks at issues such as consumer behavior, individual labor markets, theory of firms. Once again, I will repeat. Microeconomics, it studies the analysis of small units of the economy. Example, individual behavior, consumer behavior, producer, particular firm, individual price, wages, income, particular commodity, etc. For example, take for example per capita income, price policy of a particular firm, price and output policy of a particular firm. So, like this, so micro studies the problem of individual economic units such as household, a firm, or an industry, or a consumer. So, by studying these all micro elements, it is very easy to frame policies and plans for the economic development of the nation. And come to the second very interesting part, that is macroeconomics. What do you mean by macroeconomics? Yes, it is the study of the whole economy. It looks at aggregate variables, aggregate demand, national income, national output, inflation, etc. So, it is the study of aggregates of the economy, total employment, total unemployment, national output, aggregate investment, aggregate demand, general price level, general wage level, interest rate, etc. So, macroeconomic theory discusses the problems of determination of the total income of the country, causes, consequences, fluctuations, etc. And it also throws light on the aggregate investment, why the aggregate investment of the nation declining or increasing, aggregate consumption, aggregate supply, aggregate demand. So, these all are very useful concepts to frame policies and programs. See here in this picture, that is micro elements are given and then macro elements are given. First point, micro. So, micro economics, that is totally that is surrounded by these all things. Take for example decisions of individual consumer, how demand and price are determined, and then decisions of individual households, labor economics, factors that influence individual economic choices, etc. So, on the basis of this, what it studies, that is given here: individual market, effects on price of a commodity, individual labor market, individual consumer behavior, supply of a particular company, etc. On the basis of this, we can conclude that the study of microeconomics is very, very useful. Come to the next very interesting point, that is of macroeconomics. So, what is macroeconomics? The study of the macroeconomics, that means economy as a whole. So what it includes we already discussed. So that is explained with the help of diagram. Unemployment is there, inflation is there, and then national output is there, national income is there. A wide phenomena are given here. It includes national, regional, global economies, etc. So macroeconomics, how this concept includes the very interesting elements of the economy. Take for example, it throw light on the limited resources of the nation. When the limited resources are studied, definitely the next point, that is why limited resources and why there is a scarcity. That is because of unlimited wants. Unlimited wants leads to, that is demand for goods and services. There is a problem of choice. So economizing the problem of choice, how is it possible? So there are different things given here. Economic growth, improve use of available resources in a systematic way, then reduce wants. These all are possible. The question arises. So then how to maintain the economic growth? By allocating the resources in most efficient way and production in a very good manner, maintaining equity and attaining the goal of full employment. So these all are very useful, economizing the problem. On the basis of these all, just to be throw light on, that is the basic contents of the macroeconomics. So it studied the whole economy, that is the gross domestic product of the nation, the general inflation, general price level, what are the reasons why price level that goes on increasing, employment, unemployment, aggregate demand, then productive capacity of the economy. So these are the very interesting factors which we deal in the study of macroeconomics. See here, students. So the whole economy that is studied with the help of, that is microeconomics. Therefore micro and macroeconomics always go hand in hand. Then come to the next very interesting that is concept, difference between micro and macro economics. Yes, question is there for short answer. So what is micro and what is macro? That is just we discussed, and come to the next point, the difference between these two. Yes, microeconomics, it studies the individual unit related to the marginal analysis. Then it provides the information relating to the individual prices, individual consumption, individual production, and analysis is very simple, very easy. It focuses on price level and studies individual problems. And on the other hand, macro study the whole economy, large groups, aggregate concepts, general concepts related to the whole economy, public finance, national income. Then it provides clear information related to the aggregate aspects of the life. Macroeconomics is a complex because of the study of large groups. It is particularly focused on income analysis, problems relating to the economy, and its importance is given. This way, micro and macroeconomics both are very useful for the study of economic aspects of our life. Yes, dear students, this is about positive economics and normative economics and micro and macro economics, and the remaining part we will discuss in the next session. Yes, let us try to live with COVID-19 with a positive attitude or positive thoughts. See you.